6 is giving everybody another reason to celebrate. It's a chance to win $25,000. Download that free Super 6 app on your phone, make your 6 predictions, and get your chance to win big. All right, so Buccaneers head coach Todd Bowles asked if their 35-7 loss to the Niners would have a negative impact on his team. Interesting response from Bowles. He said, quote, "No, it's easier to get over it, actually. You get blown out, it's easier to get over as opposed to losing a close one." Shannon, weigh in here. Do you like it or do you have a problem with what Bowles said?
Man, Todd Bowles full of caca. Because when you get beat by a lot, Skip, what is it telling you? Your team not that good. At least, Skip, if I get beat by a touchdown, I get beat by a field goal, I can say, you know what? Hey, look, guys, the Texans. Guys, we had 4 cracks at the on the 4-yard line. Mm-hmm. We could have easily won this game. What does Todd Bowles go into a Wednesday meeting and tell these guys? We had a chance to win this game? What play? Would you have 30 holding penalties? Man, you get beat by 28 points and then with Tom Brady on your team? That ain't easy to get over. That was an old-fashioned butt whipping. Mm-hmm. They went through you like foreign water through a tourist, and you talking about you had a chance?
Yep.
When you get beat by a lot, Skip, it tells you one thing. You're not nearly good enough to compete. At least if I get, Skip, you can say, hey, if that, you're like, well, I know people are saying, but Shannon, that holding penalty that Mike Evans had a touchdown, that would have tied the game. He held him. The guy started, he was looking at Tom Brady. When Donovan Smith got through with him, Skip, his back was to Tom Brady. How did he get in that position? Because Donovan Smith held him.
Yep.
He almost cost him the game against New Orleans because he got a holding penalty on a touchdown.
You got it.
So no. And Todd Bowles knows this. Skip, his offense, his defense has been the most consistent part of their team. But it's not the offense gets to go on to the playoffs or advance further if the defense advances and the offense doesn't. It is a team. And right now your team isn't very good. And a 35-7 victory, a 35-7 loss tells you your team isn't good. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, Skip, okay, you lost 13-0. Like, well, okay, the defense did help them to 13, or the offense just didn't get it going today. You scored 7, but you gave up 35. So what aspect can you go in on a Monday meeting and say, hey, guys, hey, we were close. Man, a play here or a play there. Who knows what the ball bounces our way? Damn, the ball bounced y'all way, the wrong way the entire game. I played too long, you covered too long. You know. We talk, man, they put that thing on us today, man. We ain't even have a chance. That's what guys will say. Guys say, man, we were close, man. Ooh, hey, man, hey, that penalty here, a drop, the ball the ball funny, bounced the wrong way. Nah, y'all didn't get no bounce. That could have been a basketball, and that bounced straight up and down. Y'all wasn't winning that game on Sunday, and y'all were not close as a team. So Todd can tell y'all, well, it's actually no, it ain't. No. I played too long, and I wasn't a part of a whole lot of. But them lopsided, I think we lost to Philly my 3rd year. That was, Skip, I know you remember Jerome Brown, Jay Boogie. Mm-hmm. He ended up dying in a car accident the offseason, so they dedicated that season. I think they shut us out. I think we might have had like 70 yards of total offense. It wasn't like, I'm like, bro, we had 70 yards of total offense in the entire game. You ain't getting over that. I appreciate you trying, Todd, but nah, not this one, bro. Not this one.
Okay. I completely concur. As Parcells famously said, you are what your record says you are. They're 6-7.
Right.
They're just not a very good football team right now. The problem is, what else can Todd Bowles say at this point? He's got to put some sort of positive spin, or they'll just quit on him. He tried the week before. He tried the old, we've got to look in the mirror and decide how badly we want this. And then they go lay a 35-7 egg, and it sounds like they looked in the mirror and said, well, we don't.
We're not good.
Right?
That's what they saw.
So I don't know what else he can say. He can't say publicly, we're just a bad football team. Because you can't. You could if you just missed the playoffs.
Right.
If your season officially, mathematically eliminated you, then maybe you could just say, we're just a bad football team. But obviously, by virtue of playing in by far the worst division in all of football, the NFC going south, because they're just going south and going south, they might win it with a losing record. and they still have a chance because they're still, whatever it is, half game up.
Yeah.
And they still get to play Carolina, the second to last game at home, and then they get to go to Atlanta for the final game
with a rookie
against a rookie quarterback. Correct. All right. So the one thing that this franchise has going for it is it does still have Brady at quarterback.
Right.
And Brady does have a long, bizarre history of stinkers that lead to a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Right.
But if you, just to remind you, there was that classic on to Cincinnati game in 2014, and this was a Monday night game. It was at Kansas City, and the final score was Kansas City 41. This wasn't with Patrick Mahomes. This was with Alex Smith. 41-14 over Belichick, Brady, and company. And in that game, Brady was pretty horrible. He's 14-23 for 159, one touchdown, 2 interceptions with a QBR of 27, which is low, 0 to 100 scale. And then let's fast forward to his first year, the pandemic year, as a Buccaneer. And by the way, that Kansas City game was on a Monday night. So on a Sunday night against your arch rival at home, you'd already lost to him once in the opener at New Orleans. This is New Orleans and Drew Brees at Tampa on Sunday Night Football solo stage. They got beaten 38-3, and it felt even worse than the 35-7 did because it was a disaster of a debacle.
Well, you remember, Skip, they kicked the long field goal to keep from getting shut out.
To keep from getting shut out. It should have been 38-0. In that game, Brady was 22 of 38 for 208, 0 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. It might have been the worst game he's ever played. It just might have been. His QBR was 4, as in F-O-U-R 4.
But the difference between this and then, Skip, is that we've never seen Brady play this many average to below average games in a season.
Okay, I got that.
At any point in time, even in that year that they got beat by Kansas City for 41-14, you said, he didn't look like this. He was playing unbelievable except that game.
Okay, and obviously they went on and managed to win the Super Bowl against the Legion of Boom in the game you brought up earlier in the show, the Malcolm Butler Memorial game. Okay, and in the pandemic year, you could still see along the trail, they're pretty good. They got that defense it's flying, it's loaded, and obviously they go on to Green Bay, and then they beat Rodgers at Rodgers, and they go on and win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Okay. Then we got last year, late in the year, I think December 13th, another Sunday night football game against your arch rival, the New Orleans Saints, at home. They throw up a 9-0 stinker, and it wasn't such a stinker for the defense as these other games were, but 9-0, and Brady has another one of those debacle games. He's 26 of 48 for 219, no touchdowns, 1 interception with a QBR of 24. So it's a stinker that leads on to whoever came next week, but they go on, and obviously they beat the Eagles in the first round at home, and they did take the Rams to the wire in the next playoff game at home.
But look at it, Skip.
Yep.
Tom Brady had 43 touchdowns. He led the league. What's the likelihood he throws? He has 17 right now. So what's the likelihood he throws 26 touchdowns in the last 4 games?
Okay.
And you look at his QBR, where he was last year. He's outside of the top 20. He was top 10 last year in QBR. So clearly, this year has been like no other year Tom Brady has ever experienced in his career. Forget games, year.
Completely agree. Okay, the other problem at San Francisco was on the defensive side, shortly into the game, they were down 6 starters on a defense that already lost JVP and Sue and Shaq Barrett, who were the mainstays of that front, right?
Yes.
You still got the 2 linebackers, but around them, you had nobody. And I'm not sure we got to wait for the injury reports going into Friday. I don't know who's going to be able to play defense against Joe Burrow. If you think Brock Purdy went Joe Montana on him, wait and see what Joe Burrow does to him. Trust me, he will pick them to pieces because that's what he does. Okay, so then I start to study this, and remember, I thought, before the year started, I thought Gronk would come back in November 1st, December 1st sometime, and you said no, and you were correct. And I look at Gronk's production last year, and he was pretty sensational because he managed to play 12 games last year. He caught 55 balls with 6 touchdown catches. The average was 14.6 a catch. Trust me, as you well know, being a tight end,
that's very impressive for a tight end.
So now you've had to replace him with a kid that you like, but he's just this kid from Washington. He's K-Dot.
He ain't Gronk. He don't command the respect and the attention that Gronk did.
No, so he's also played 12 games so far, and I look at the productivity, and he's caught 36 balls against the 55 that Gronk caught, and he's caught 2 touchdown passes versus the 6 that Gronk caught, and guess what? His yards per catch is 9.4. Well, I know it doesn't sound like much to go from 14.6 to 9.4. It's like a drop off.
Well, he's not even averaging a first down a catch. No. A tight end, a decent tight end, you're supposed to average at least a first down a catch.
A first down a catch. Okay, so Cameron Brate was the number 2 tight end, and he's just been hurt all year. And guess how many touchdown catches he catches? He has none. And he had 4 last year.
Right.
Okay, so think about this. So you have no security blanket there at all.
At least, Skip, if you lost Gronk, you was hoping on that, you know what, with this new kid, K-Dot, and with Cameron Brate, we can, we can replicate the production that we lost with Gronk with 2 guys instead of 1. But you haven't been able to do it.
All right. And then don't underestimate, Tom Brady loved Antonio Brown.
Right.
He loved him almost as much as he loved Gronk. And before the meltdown last year, AB played 7 games for Tom Brady. And I'm looking at these numbers, and they're sensational. He caught 42 passes in 7 games for 545. 13 yards a catch. And all of a sudden, you try to replace him with Julio, who's been beat up. He missed practice yesterday. He's got a knee that's bothering him. He just doesn't look like Julio to me. Well, he was supposed to be your new speed guy or whatever. I don't not that he's like AB because he's big versus little.
different type of receiver.
But would you believe that Julio has now played 8 games to AB's 7 and caught 20 fewer passes than AB caught in 7 games? And the yards per catch it's like, I don't even want to read it to you. It's just embarrassing. So you're not the same. You're not who you were last year, right?
No.
So they're a bad football team right now. And Brady used the ironic line on to Cincinnati, which was Belichick's line after the Monday night debacle back in 2014. And remember, they turned right around and they had Cincinnati at New England and beat them 43-13 after they lost 41-14. Okay, so you can see what happened. They just reversed it. Here we go, and they were off to the races and on to the Super Bowl. Okay, so are they on to Cincinnati now? And really,
Skip. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a 6-7 football team with a great quarterback. If they didn't have Tom Brady, we would say they were small. We would just talk. We would just say what they actually are. A 6-7 football team. They're a 6-7 football team that has not played. Skip, they've scored more than 22 points once. They lost. They scored 22 and they lost to Baltimore. They scored 31 and they lost to the Kansas City. The other game, 20 game they scored 21 against Seattle.
I got it. Good point. Okay. Last couple of quick points on this year. Now we're back. Mike Evans is still there, and I'm sure he's beat up like everybody is, but he caught 14 touchdown passes